Imagine being someone who's super talented, who has a strong purpose for their life, and believes that God has called them to make a very big impact on the world. But whenever it comes time to walk in your purpose, doubt creeps in and makes you second guess your abilities. You know that you're called for something greater, but you can't seem to overcome the fear of putting yourself out there and potentially failing. What if I told you that there was a way for you to build the confidence that you need to walk in your purpose boldly so that you can take advantage of every opportunity that stands in between who you are today and who you know you can be if you only get out of your own way? When I was a kid, I had faith that surpassed all understanding. I knew in my heart that God called me to be a music artist, and nothing in my mind made me think otherwise. And as people started to see the things that I was creating and I began to walk in my purpose, I noticed that my confidence would transfer from the music to my everyday life. And so I was walking with my head up. I was very firm on what I wanted in my life, and no matter what anyone told me, I knew what I was here for. But all of a sudden, as I was getting all this momentum, I had a few people begin to call me arrogant or cocky. And although it was far from the majority of people, those few who commented on my character really forced me to second guess if what I was working on was really a gift from God. And so I started to tone my excitement down, thinking if people aren't positively impacted by my presence, that I should dim my light so that others could shine. And eventually, after years and years of making myself smaller so I didn't offend people, I began to believe in my heart that I was actually this minimized version of myself that I created to make people feel better about themselves. But my passion never faded, and so after years of working on music and throwing events and learning how to market myself, I was able to overcome this overwhelming self-doubt and create a brand that not only helps me, but serves as a constant reminder that I'm good enough to create the life that I always wanted. And in retrospect, looking back on my journey, there are 3 very important elements that everyone thinks they understand, yet no one has used it effectively to combat self-doubt and promote self-belief. And so in this episode, we will talk about how spirituality is the foundation of self-belief and how you can unlock the spiritual weapons promised in the word. And trust me, it's different than anything you've learned in church. We'll dive into the secrets of building unbreakable mental resilience, revealing how small tweaks in your everyday life can have a huge impact on your self-confidence. And finally, we'll discuss how you can leverage business structure and execution to continually affirm the vision that you have for yourself. And so the reason why so many people lack self-belief is because there's a major misrepresentation of who God really is.
I feel so small, and it seems impossible to me that anything that oversees like our whole world or our whole universe would have time for me.
God is not the wars that we see happening between countries who use his name to promote violence. God is not trying to strip you of the qualities about yourself that make you unique, as we've seen a lot of so-called believers do when they cast judgment. God created us to be his reflections on earth, and that's why he took the same creativity he used to design the heavens and the earth and gave us those same powers to use over our lives. And so whatever it is you want to do, as long as you make sure it's in alignment with God and you do the work, there's no way you can fail. And so I always liken this process to a video game, right? When you're playing Call of Duty on story mode, you have the ability to roam freely. You can go wherever you want on the map, but every time you go too far off, the game has something called missions control. And the job of missions control is to let you know how to get back on track when you get lost.
Soap, the missile was launched, so you'll have to remote detonate it.
That I haven't done.
I will guide you, but it will take time.
And the reason why so many of us lack self-belief in this game called life is because we don't know how to tap into the missions control, the commander of the entire operation. And so I'm going to give you some practical steps to help you learn how to hear and understand the voice of God so that you can walk in your purpose. And so the first thing you have to do is believe that God has a plan for you. When I was at my rock bottom, I started journaling, and what I found was that every time I felt like I failed, God used that moment to prepare me for the next victory. And so if you feel like you want to believe in God, but you have doubts on if he has a real plan for your life, I want to send you a free copy of my Who Am I Self-Discovery Journal with questions on every page that will help you identify and actualize your purpose. But whether or not you take this offer, I urge you to begin to look for God in your story. Whether you know it or not, he's already been working in your life. The second thing you have to do is clear the way for communication with God by living a righteous life. So many of us want to live worldly lives but get godly results. And the Bible says righteousness makes your path straight. And so if you're a creative or a mission-driven purpose who is in a season of confusion on what your next step should be, God may be telling you to adjust your life so that he can give you the next step. And lastly, you have to listen when God reveals the correct path to you. And so there's this verse that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. But a little bit after that, it says, do not despise the Lord's discipline because he disciplines who he loves. And so sometimes when it feels like you can't escape depression or anxiety, God is trying to talk to you and realign you to the mission. I notice whenever the storm comes in our lives, the first thing we do is we run to the world to find peace, even if we know it's only temporary and will put us in a worse state than before we engaged. And what I'm trying to help you understand is that there's a certain level of faith that you can tap into, that when problems arise, you recognize that these things aren't happening to you, but for you. The next thing we need to work on once you're in constant communication with God and understand there's a greater purpose for your life is to work on your mental resilience. And I'm going to say it because I feel like everyone dances around the topic in the spiritual community. As much as I believe in God, I understand that he's not here in the physical form. And so it's my job to make sure that when I leave that quiet place with God, I have the strength mentally to withstand the world. And so there's going to be people who doubt you. There's going to be people who you hold in a high regard who simply don't believe in your vision. There's going to be so many people on social media who present fake lifestyles and give you unrealistic expectations on what your purpose is supposed to look like. And eventually, if you're not intentional about your influences, you can become your own worst enemy by allowing your inner voice to kill your confidence before it even has the chance to make an impact on your life in a positive way. I believe in the saying, guard your gates. That anything that you allow to enter into your mind will become a part of the operating system that controls your emotions and your actions. And so as hard as this may be, if there's anyone in your life who consistently makes you feel like you're not good enough to achieve your goals, you have to immediately cut them off. What's important about this step is to not form a negative narrative around this person, because if you do, the negativity that is attached to the person will still be a constant reminder of the limitations that they put on you. So it's okay to understand that sometimes people naturally go apart, and there could be greater on the other side for both parties. By surrounding yourself with people who affirm your vision, you will create an environment of success where even if you fail, you feel like you can get back up and try again because you're not constantly fighting someone's lack of belief. Instead, you'll be living up to the standard that your new group of friends have set for you, which is an amazing confidence booster. Secondly, you have to be very careful about the type of content you watch online. Unfortunately, drama sells, music that promotes death sells, TV shows that encourage ignorant behavior are what's most popular in the culture. And so if you want to create a strong sense of self-belief, you have to be very intentional about the type of content that you watch and listen to. Podcasts like these are created to help you identify and actualize your purpose. But if you need more motivation, I just dropped an album called Music Therapy, where I dive into topics such as addressing past trauma, getting out of your own way, and self-love. If you would like to go behind the scenes on that project and experience the same mental breakthroughs that I got while I was in therapy, I'll leave a link below where you can access the private behind-the-scenes content that will not only sound amazing, but help you develop a stronger sense of self-belief. Lastly, and most importantly, you have to control the thoughts and words that you allow yourself to think. Our bodies are electromagnetic and our words carry sound frequencies. And these thoughts and words work to attract whatever energy you give off when you use them. If you start a project and you already feel like you failed, the mind will affirm your belief by making sure you reach the result that you had in your mind before starting. And there's so many scientific experiments like the double slits test that states matter operates differently based off of if it's being observed or not. And I'll leave the link below for these experiments. There's also something called the placebo effect that states if you give someone fake medicine and they believe it's real, the body will begin to heal as if you were giving actual medicine. And these are two of many examples of the way that your mind can control your reality. And so once you understand and master the power of thought, you can force yourself to feel much more confident and able to attack life's challenges and walk in your purpose. My favorite way to build self-confidence once you have a solid relationship with God and the mental resilience to handle adversity is to start a business. The reason why I put this step last is because you need both God and a strong mind to deal with the ups and downs in business. But if you do it the right way, it can serve to slowly but surely build your self-worth and competence. First, I have a disclaimer. I believe in righteous capitalism. That is, if your business doesn't have a positive impact on the world, I don't believe that it will be effective in helping you build confidence. The reason for this is because when things go bad, and they will go bad, you need to know that what you're building is bigger than how an unfortunate situation makes you feel. But if you believe that business is a place for you to serve people and develop better self-esteem, here are a few ways that you can leverage your business for self-affirmation. 3 things that every business needs to succeed are a business plan, business systems, and KPIs. But what most people don't know is that if you set it in the proper context, these things can also help you build your self-confidence. A business plan is an extension of your self-discovery journey. The only difference is, in the beginning, you're learning how all of your failures amount to your success. Once you graduate to creating a business plan, you're able to see how all of your misfortunes will serve the world at large. That's the meaning of purpose. using your skills, your talents, desires, and faults to create a value exchange between you and the world. With clarity of purpose comes rock-solid confidence. Now, when you fail in any aspect of life, you know that you have a solid business plan to fall back on. No longer can anyone make you feel like your dreams are impossible because it's clearly written out on paper. Business systems are defined as the set of practices that you apply to your business to reach a desired result. The beautiful part about business systems is that they add discipline to your lifestyle. Whereas before your business systems, it would be so easy for the world to pull you in any direction that you had enough time to engage in. After you create business systems, you'll have little, if any, time to do anything that could potentially harm your ability to complete your discipline. An idle mind is a mind at risk of self-doubt. With a strong set of business practices, you'll be more confident knowing that at any given moment, you can refer to a set of systems that will bring you back on track. I like to use apps like Asana to write out my systems so that anytime I need to be reminded, I can just open up my phone or laptop and get right back to business. Lastly, KPIs are the key to being able to leverage your business to grow your personal self-confidence. Key performance indicators are attainable goals that, when you hit them, let you know that you're on the right track. They usually work toward progressing the business. And since we've already discussed righteous capitalism, any KPI that improves your business will also improve you personally. The reason why KPIs are so effective at developing self-confidence is because it creates a feedback loop that rewires your brain to associate happiness and confidence with goals that align with your gifts, talents, purpose, and business. This sits directly opposed to the negative content that we spoke about earlier, which gives you a dopamine hit every time you see something wild or ignorant on the screen. With the proper business plan, systems, and KPIs, you are building your sense of self-worth on a solid foundation while giving yourself the opportunity to make money doing something God designed you for. If you believe that your purpose is to make music that brings people life and heals, I want to let you know about my online course for purpose-driven music artists called the Creative Believers Academy. This course is designed to boost your confidence in yourself as a purpose-driven music artist by giving you a clear step-by-step process to grow a community around your music. And if you hit the link in the description, I'm offering it to you at a 50% discount. So if you make music for a purpose, this is definitely an opportunity for you to get that community growing. In conclusion, self-belief is something that, if you're not careful, the world can trick you out of. Luckily, in this podcast, we've outlined 3 ways that you can develop your self-confidence through a relationship with God, intentional life choices, and leveraging your business. If you'd like help on that journey becoming more confident, here's a list of the offers that I have that will set you on the right path, including the Who Am I Self-Discovery Journal, the Music Therapy Album Experience, and the Creative Believers course. As always, create yourself so the world doesn't. Peace. So am I.
You are now in the presence of greatness. Confidence, or call it cocky, don't matter the naming as long as you know it's contagious. It's power of life and death inside the tongue. Imagine the power that comes with your prayer. Imagine a coward that's always complaining and keep trying to act like he doing you favors. The devil gon' dance to the music you listen to. All the temptation is in entertainment. BET ain't on my frequency, and that's why recently I took my life and I changed it. Since I was made in the image of God up in heaven, I knew I just had to create it. Haters always got pictures they paint and they mad cause I made it out my mama basement. I used to think I should chase it, now I attract it. I made a brand and I went got it tatted. I made my parents respect where I'm headed. Got rid of my past, I live life in the present. Now I'm talking verbs and I'm talking nouns, and I've been curving all of the crowds. I've been so low, need to get out the house. Been stacking this paper to get out the drought. Drinking no chaser till I'm in the clouds. I've been so high now I'm trying to be grounded. I cannot handle the fakeness around me. Thumbing through paper I love when I count it. My ex, she told me to stop being childish, but I told her that's the last time I dreamed. I love when the text hit my phone from a free. Love when the sun make my diamonds go bling. Love when I feel I got all that I need. Competence, arrogance, cockiness, greed. All of the doubt in my heart I release. All of the fear in my heart I release. All of the guilt from my past I release. My unanswered prayers I gotta release. All of my haters I gotta release. I ball like a Laker, I gotta release. Gotta release. Gotta release, I gotta release. Gotta release. Gotta release, I gotta release. Gotta release. Gotta release, I gotta release. Gotta release. I gotta release, I gotta release. You are now in the presence of greatness. Confidence, or call it cocky, don't matter the naming as long as you know it's contagious. Power of life and death inside the tongue. Imagine the power that comes with your prayer. Imagine a coward that's always complaining and keep trying to act like he doing you favors. I gotta release.